Hi, my name is Cheri. Welcome to my Stampin' Up studio. Today I'm going to finish off a series for you, and I've switched it up a little bit. So I'm going to be doing one of my trifold window cards. And when I started it didn't really start out as a series, but I had so many ideas for them with the stamps that are in the holiday catalog that I told you I would do a Halloween, a Christmas, and a fall one. But I'm going to do a winter one instead of a fall one or a Christmas one. I think I used a Christmas greeting, but you could make it a winter one. So I did want to remind you that the Love of Leaves class closes on September 15th. So for those of you that are doing this class, that's where the fall one's going to end up. So there will be a trifold window card in that class. So you get there is a kit portion with it, and I know whatever I used to make the window you might not have, so when you get to your supplies it'll already have the window cut out for you. So this does end registration on September 15th for the kit, and I think that then the video series portion for it, if you just want the videos, probably ends like a week later. The videos usually end a week later. Then I also wanted to remind you that this opened, 2 classes opened this week, the Little Treat bundle, which I know the dies make boxes, but we won't make all boxes. That's a 6 project class. We'll do some of the little boxes, and then we'll also do some cards because all of the things that come in it. And this video posted this week, and I made the little essential oil mask spray. Who knew that even such a thing existed this time last year? Who knew that we would be wearing masks in public? So I don't even want to imagine what 2021 could have in store that we might not be thinking about. But this weekend, if you're watching this video when it posts or a day or two later, this is one of my free gifts with purchase, in addition to what I normally offer. But I wanted to just spread some little happiness because this smells like heaven. And if you have to wear a dang mask, then it might as well smell like heaven. But this class opened too, as well as did the Snowflake Wishes class, which is what I'm going to use today. I'm going to sneeze. My allergies are bad. And you know, when you have to sneeze and you have on a mask and people think, oh no, she's got COVID, just not a great time for allergy sufferers. Oh. So this is a card I have already made with the Snowflake Wishes bundle. And so that, like I said, that is a class coming up. It's the last class I have of the year, so it's late November. So we will do 4 projects. 2 will be Christmas themed and 2 will be winter. But of course you can always take the Christmas words, like this one says, may your season sparkle, so it could easily be a winter or a New Year's card. So we will do 2 winter and 2 Christmas. So the other 2, which if you want to do a fall one, you'll have to do the Love of Leaves to see my fall one, because that was what I was going to use because there's so many beautiful leaves. When you do one of these trifold window cards, the set that you use obviously has to have enough pieces that you can show through. So this was the Halloween one that I did, and this set comes with this lovely window. So this one's perfect for it. And then it has all the little pieces that can show through your windows because you like to see all of the sides, like to have something. So this tutorial is up, as is the Peace and Joy. Again, it had plenty of pieces, stamps, and dies in the set. And then of course, Snowflake Wishes has a ton, and then the Love of Leaves has a ton. So that's, when I look at sets, sometimes I'm like, oh, I got to do a trifold window with that. So let's do this one. For this one, this does not look anything like the suite because the color's not even close. The paper in this suite is beautiful, and I wanted to show you because I've already cut the piece. So it's 12 by 12 paper. All the sides are really pretty, but some of them do have some dark pieces of blue, and they have like the moonlight in them. The piece that I'm going to use and kind of have Pacific Point and navy in them doesn't have this. So if you're cutting your pieces into 4 by 5.5, when you do this card here, it's going to be a little bit darker. So just take that into consideration when you're picking your ink colors, because you can vary them. But mine's going to look more like my original. So to do these cards, you need 12-inch cardstock, which we do have in all of our colors. And so it's cut 12 by 5.5. And then you're going to need your paper scorer. You're going to score 4 inches both ways, or 4 and 8, but I usually just flip mine around. Because if you watch my videos, you know I don't like to lift my arm up, because, not my physical arm, but the arm on my paper score, because usually my table just has a lot of stuff on it. And you can just do 4 this way and then flip it around and do 4 the other way. So we've got that side, and then just flip this. Or you could flip your arm out and measure to 8. But I often do measurements from both sides. If you are in my class, I sometimes give you both. If you're in a class that has the PDFs. So we've got that. And then for this one, they're always a Z-fold. And if you don't know what a Z-fold is, I will show you, because people talk about a Z-fold card and you can be like, I don't know their secret code. So when you fold it, you have a Z. So we need a Z to do our card. And then because I want the designer series paper on this one, none of the other 2 cards that I've done have had that. I am going to get my little bone folder here. So everybody who joins my team has been getting these little things when they promote, because we've had some promotions from some of my new girls, so they've been getting these. But I'm giving everybody that signs up this weekend some mask sprays. So I'm just in the mood to be giving stuff away. So for this one, I do want to cut this at the same time. So just take your Stampin' seal, and you want it only to go across the tops and the sides. Well, and there's something from the last Snowflake card. If you saw me when we do remember that came off when I was trying to stick those on. Yeah, it's not coming out because I stopped to get that off. So just go up around all the edges, because we want that middle piece to not be stuck to the white piece, because I want to use it. So just around these edges. Just like that. So this piece right here, when it comes through, won't be stuck. And then you can decide if you want your purple, if you want your blue. It doesn't really matter on this one. Some designs that you use, it may make a difference. If you're using words, you would want to make, like if there's words on your paper, you would want to make sure that this is the front when you open it. So just put that on there. And then let's send that through. And I'm going to go ahead, no I won't. I was going to say you can send all the pieces through. So this comes with the window. But it's one of these beautiful windows that we've had before. Most of my window cards, I'll use something like this. This is the one that's on the Christmas card, and it's just plain. So you can run it through the whole stack of 3 pieces of paper. Well, we've just made this before, and this has all these intricate little snowflakes. So I'm not going to run it through this whole stack because it won't cut. So there's no sense in testing it because it won't cut. So it's not even probably going to cut through 3. The window itself will, but we need all those snowflakes to cut out too. So you're going to have to be careful when you do this. So line this up on here. I think I want the 2 snowflakes at the top. So this would be, you can see the card opens like that because this is the back of your card. Just lay that on there. You could use the magnetic platform for this if you want, but it will hold pretty good. So for this, there's very few times that I send my things through my machine more than once, but this one we're going to, because we want to make sure that it gets all those pieces. So we're going to send it through once, and then we're going to send it through back. And if you do this and you have plates that warp, and you're a sender back and forther, then your plates will warp, because you can see that's already warped my plate a little bit just from doing this card twice. And my plates, if I could get all 50 of them that I have laying over there, and they don't warp. Now I'm going to take this stack just like this, and I'm going to flip that over and send it through now so it can press it the other direction. And do that twice. And then also, as well as cutting from the other side, it also helps press your plates back down. Now I'm going to carefully take this off and see where we're at in the cutting process. So you can see it still hasn't quite cut all of that through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top layer off because it has cut through. And this is why you wanted to make sure that you got, normally they're not this fiddly So now we've got this, and you can see like this is cut through, but this still has some pieces, and it's mainly these snowflakes. Like the window itself is cut through. Mine's a little crooked. I thought I laid it on there crooked, but you know, I can only do 12 things at once. There's a truck outside my window. I was trying to see who he was, but he's just pulled away. I should have just paused the video and came back. I'm not quite sure what he was doing out there. So we've got this one. And see, because I didn't stick the middle, I can use both those pieces of paper. I didn't want them to be stuck. But with this, now I can open this up, stick this in here, and put it the right direction, and then line this back up. It's just like a puzzle. So you may feel like you want to use your magnetic platform for this. In fact, let's. Just because it's new and I can. I'm so used to not using the magnetic platform that it doesn't bother me. So with the magnetic platform, if you didn't watch my video for it, it just replaces a plate. It's self-healing. It won't last forever because you do cut on it. It will last a long time, but it's not going to last forever. And so we can just lay this on here and then just line it right back up like a puzzle. Except it does stick because of the magnet. So once you get it where you want it, just like that, then press it down. And now one pass should get this fine. And it's not gonna move anywhere because it's got the magnetic platform. You can go watch my video and don't be asking me a bunch of questions about the magnetic platform on this video because I do have one that tells you all the tips and tricks. And if you're keeping your Big Shot, you can use it, but I do have some advice for you on that too. But now you can see we have the windows for that. It's a little crooked, but there's a lot going on this card, so it won't matter. Okay, now I'm going to take, I guess I could have gotten all this ready before I did that because I already have scraps, because you know I keep these scraps from all of my other cards. I'm going to take the blends and I'm just gonna make, see how this has this nice fun background? I'm just gonna make some of that. So I have Light Highland Heather. I'm gonna put that on here. Just kind of randomly make some paper that looks a little bit like this paper. And then it's fun to have the blend because we have the purple posy, which we don't have in an ink pad. And it's in this paper. I'm just gonna put that on there. And then I have Light Seaside Spray. I only have the lights of these colors. And of course, because they're blends, they'll blend so you can go over the top. And the nice thing is because we don't need it all, we can just use the parts that we think are the prettiest. This is dark, oh, I guess I do have a dark Seaside Spray. And then a Pool Party, a light Pool Party. And then we'll just pull, I still have some left. Pull our machine back over. We don't use, because this is consumable and because it cuts in it, these do not matter where they land on the thing. So don't use your magnetic platform if you don't need it. And these are consumable too. I'll just tell y'all that I know a lot of you will cut the living daylights out of these before you replace them. And the magnetic platform costs more than those. So I know for a fact if you're cutting these until the end of time before you like to have new ones, don't use your magnetic platform because it's going to warp and it's going to get cut. And I know that you're not going to want to replace it. So don't just keep cutting and cutting and cutting when you don't need the magnet feature. Because these you can just put on here and wherever they land, as long as they're on the paper, that's fine. So only use it when you need it. So I have 3 of the snowflakes that just cut out snowflakes. And you can just put them on wherever you want. I'm not even looking, so they'll be whatever color they happen to land. They're big enough that you can actually get those two, the medium and the small one, on one panel. But you know, it's scrap paper, and it's scrap white paper. So pop these out. And then just run those through. Again, they don't need the magnetic platform. And if you're a demonstrator and you do classes, then you don't want your people using your magnetic platform for things like this either, because it's just going to put 3 cuts in there that didn't need to have that cut, because they cut just fine on the plain old regular platform. So now let's put this card together. We are going to take this fun background here that cut out from the front. And go ahead and put some adhesive on it. And then lay it back in here. Do it just through this one. It's easier on the ones that don't have these, so it doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll do it like this. So it kind of matches up, but it doesn't have to exactly. Because again, there's going to be a lot going on in this card, so if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. So get that there. And then we're going to do some stamping. So I have, I chose Seaside Spray, Highland Heather, and Balmy Blue. So let's go with the Balmy Blue. And this one says Snowflake Wishes for a Merry Christmas. Got a little something on my paper. Just put this right down here at the bottom. And then the stamping on this card is super easy. We're going to use the other 2 colors, and then I just pulled out the 2 stamp sets that have lots of snowflakes, so we could just get it over with quickly. So just open up your card, and let's do the Seaside Spray in these bigger ones. And this is when you'll start to see that it doesn't really matter if my stuff is crooked, because this is going to give us a nice optical illusion, and we still have to mount all of those other snowflakes on top of it. So just kind of fill this up on this side and then flip it over. This is one of the ones where sometimes when I make these cards, especially at a camp, then they kind of have to lay it here because each panel is different. Each of these panels is the same. And we'll see just how crooked it looks when it's all said and done. It's already getting a little less. And you never look at the card really all the way open. I still need to poke out all those. I'll do that in a second. And then I'll fast forward to part of the video so you don't have to watch it. So we've got that. And then let's go with our Highland Heather. And there's other snowflakes in the set. So you could, there's a ton of snowflake stamps in the set. I just went with these 2 here and got the most bang for my buck, so I didn't have to stamp as much. Let's do these in the Highland Heather. But you could have tons of snowflakes of all different shapes and sizes. And I'm just stamping right over the paper because when it folds, you don't even really notice. So we've got that. And now I'm going to take a second and poke these out, and then I'll be right back. Okay, after I poked those out, I went ahead and poked these out. Look how pretty these look with just the blends. So I often do this technique, and then people will ask me where I got that paper. And I'm like, it is just a piece of scrap paper. But when you roll these through a die, I mean, it just gives a really pretty tie-dye look of paper. So keep your little scraps and just make tie-dye of your own. And then here's our beautiful blue ones. And so now we are going to take, this is the Seaside Spray paper, ribbon that was in the holiday catalog last year, but it's back and now it's in the annual catalog. So just take this front one here we're just going to tie a bow. This is where it's going to start to hopefully cover up the fact that it's a little crooked. My grandma, when I first started stamping, she's no longer alive. So it was about almost 30 years ago. So she would have been in her 60s, late 60s. And she would stamp with me. And when she would make a card that was a little off center, she would go ahead and decide just which special person was going to get that one. She was like, oh, they'll never notice. So there you go. But I'm really thinking this one's going to be just fine. So now we're going to take glue dots, because these, here's a secret for you. Don't think, well, I'm just going to leave the centers of these in and then adhere those, because when the centers then fall out, then your snowflake will fall out. So just take a glue dot. You may have to make them smaller. And we're going to start with our back panel in here. So let's get this big one. And you can see the glue dots if you make them like smaller in half. Get them, because you don't want them to stick any part of your card together. So just put a glue dot on here and then make sure that it's just on here. And then you want it to be where you can see it in here. And then let's do one on this next panel. And you're going to kind of work panel to panel. And I'm going to alternate glimmer to tie-dye. So let's get this big one. Put it in the same spot. You want to make sure they're in your card. So now we've got that. So already it's helping. And now let's do a glimmer here on the front. So we've got glimmer here. Let's go the next biggest glimmer. And let's stick it down here. So you just take these, that one already kind of cut in half, because if you use your scissors, you can kind of get them to tear. And they'll hold well enough. So just on this one tip, put that there. This is the side that's crooked, so I'm going to have to put something over there. Don't want the smallest one. And the front's going to get 3, because you know it's the front of our card. So let's put this one. Make sure you put your glue dot where it's not gonna stick to the inside. There we go. And let's do one at the top. It's already starting to be a nice optical illusion for us. I could title this video, How to Fix Your Flubs. Because when you've got a 12 by 12 sheet of paper and you've got all the folding and all of the die cutting done, you really don't want to throw it away. So now let's go back in here and then decide where we want this one. This would also make a lovely, fun card, and she wouldn't care 2 hoots for the little girl in your life who loves Frozen. And she won't see that it's crooked at all. So give it to her. But it does look like a fun Frozen card. Maybe I'll title it Frozen, because you know Elsa does not care. It doesn't bother her anyways that it's a little bit crooked. So there we go. And then one more little thing for the little princess in your life are the rhinestones that are part of this suite. And here's one. These are almost gone, this sheet, because they were part of our Try It Club of that class. And so I had to cut them apart. But the navy one's in it. You can see this piece of paper doesn't have any of the dark blue. If I was using this, then I would. But those have all been given away. So we're happy to have this nice Frozen color. So let's put a big one. I'm going to use both the little ones so I can get rid of this tiny piece that I've been hanging on to. I'm going to try to draw my attention to down here where the card is a little bit more put together. So that's not too terrible. Got my glasses off from poking. But I think just as much as a Christmas card, this one is definitely for the Frozen. And here's one, the straight one. A little bit straighter, But I think overall, once all that stuff's on here, I don't know, it's a lovely diorama, and you could actually go get a little Anna and Elsa sticker and stick them in here so they're peeking out too. So let's open the one that's all the way perfect. So there you go. And it's fun on these because the stamping's so quick to just go ahead and stamp the other sides. So everything's all covered. You notice it more on that side than you do on these sides. So there you go. That is the window card. If you're interested in the love of leaves, then you can make one too. And like I said, if you're in the kit portion, you will get your card already scored, folded, and the window will be cut out for you on the off chance that you don't have one that will make a window. But I will give you in the class several ideas we have so many dies that work for the windows. So that's what I have for you today. You all have a fantastic day. Bye.